Bull riding is more than a sport. It's a battle between man and beast. Cowboy climbs on the back of a powerful bull, trusting his skill, courage, and pure instincts. That bull has a mind of its own, and in an instant, everything can go wrong. In this video, we'll count down the top 10 worst bull riding crashes in history. From jaw-dropping bucks to devastating impacts, these crashes reveal the true nature of the sport. Some cowboys walked away, injured but alive. Some were left fighting to recover from injuries that could have ended their careers. And some never returned to the arena at all. Get ready, the countdown is about to begin. Kicking off at the top 10 is the scariest crash that ended the career of one of the greatest bull riders to ever live. In 2023, J.B. Mooney was riding well and on his way back to the NFR. Fans were excited to see him make another run, but on September 6th, at the Extreme Bulls event in Lewiston, Idaho, things went south. The chute cracked open. An artistic assassin came out with a wild and violent jump. J.B. fought for control, but in an instant, he was slammed to the dirt, landing with his head. The entire arena froze. Years of crashes and close calls have never stopped JB, but this one was different. The crash broke his neck. 2 days later, surgeons placed rods, plates, and screws in his spine and even removed a disc. 4 days later, the news came. J.B. Mooney, the cowboy who built a career riding bulls no one else wanted to get on, announced his retirement. His words were simple but heavy. "This is not the way I wanted to go, but everything happens for a reason." At the top 9, we have a tragic crash that shows how quickly the sport can turn deadly in the most unexpected ways. In December 1994, at the National Finals Rodeo, cowboy Brent Thurman drew a calm bull named Red Wolf, a bull not known for violence. But halfway through the ride, Thurman was bucked off and became entangled in his bull rope. Tragically, he was dragged underneath Red Wolf, and the bull's powerful hind hoofs began pounding directly on the back of his head and neck. He was quickly rushed to the hospitals, where doctors found severe cranial and facial fractures. Despite being placed on life support, Brent tragically never regained consciousness. He passed away 6 days later, just 25 years old. Coming in at top 8, we got a crash so violent, so unforgettable, it nearly ended the life of one of the toughest cowboys, Mike Lee. Over his career, he took more hard crashes than most riders could ever survive, and the scariest happened on May 29, 2003, in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The arena was buzzing as the 20-year-old Mike Lee, a rising star in the sport, settled down on top of a 1,700-pound bull named Chili. He was nervous but focused and gripping the bull rope like his life depended on it. The chute burst open. Chili exploded into the arena, kicking and twisting like a cold spring. For 6 long seconds, Mike held strong. Then it happened. Chili lunged, Lee lost his position, and in a split second, man and beast collided. Mike crashed to the dirt as blood poured from the right side of his skull. Mike doesn't even remember the impact to this day. His mom later told him he staggered to his feet, dazed and bleeding, before collapsing. He was rushed to the hospital, where surgeons fought to save him. The damage was so severe that he needed emergency brain surgery to survive. Most riders would never come back from something like that. But 4 months later, yes, just 4 months, Mike Lee was back in the sport. Holding the top 7 spot is one of the darkest moments in bull riding history. It was March 2000 in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Ty Murray Invitational. The crowd was buzzing as Canadian cowboy Glenn Keeley, ranked among the top 10 in the world, prepared to ride the powerful bull Promised Land. The gate flew wide and Promised Land came alive, kicking and spinning with everything he had. Keeley tried to keep centered, but only seconds later, he was thrown forward and crashed into the dirt. He landed in the worst possible place, directly beneath the bull. Promised Land's massive back hooves came down with crushing force on Keeley's chest. The impact broke ribs, punctured a lung, and tore into his liver. Fans watched in stunned silence as medics rushed to his side. Keeley was taken straight to the hospital, but despite emergency surgery, the damage was too much. That night, at only 30 years old, Glenn Keeley lost his life. This crash is still remembered as one of the worst crashes in history. Standing at the top 6, Tough Hedeman, officially known as Tough Nut, faced Bodacious in 1995, a bull infamous for sheer power and unpredictability. The gate flew open, and Bodacious jumped out with force. Hedeman gripped tight, but the bull had other plans. In a split second, Bodacious threw his massive head back and smashed it directly into Tough's face. The impact was catastrophic. Hedeman's cheekbones shattered, jaw crushed, and his eye sockets destroyed. The crowd gasped as Hedeman was slammed to the dirt, then headbutted again by Bodacious. Blood poured down, painting the arena in a scene straight out of a nightmare. Against all odds, he staggered out of the arena. Surgeons worked for hours, reconstructing his face with titanium plates, piecing together what Bodacious had nearly obliterated. And just 6 weeks later, Tough Hedeman returned to the arena, fearless and ready to ride again. If you're enjoying this video, like and click the subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, because the next 5 worst bull riding crashes in history will shock you. Sitting at the top 5 is the crash that shook the rodeo world. Denny Flynn was riding a huge, powerful bull at Cheyenne Frontier Days in 1983. The bull bucked violently, and Flynn was thrown off, landing badly on the dirt. Before he could get up, the bull's back hooves came down on him, crushing parts of his head and face. Flynn was seriously injured, suffering severe facial fractures, a crushed skull, and other head injuries. He was rushed to the hospital where he underwent emergency treatment and surgery. At the top 4, we have a crash that nearly ended the career of one of bull riding's most electrifying champions. Chris Shivers, a 2-time world champion, was known for his aggressive riding style and fearless approach. But in the 2005 PBR Hawaii All-Star Challenge, he faced an injury that left fans and fellow riders in shock. At the end of the event, Shivers was thrown from his bull and landed awkwardly. As he attempted to get up, the bull stepped on his left leg, causing a compound fracture of the tibia, fibula, and ankle. The impact was so severe that many feared he might never ride again. Despite the severity of the injury, Shivers displayed remarkable resilience. He underwent surgery and began an intensive rehabilitation process. He returned to competition just 3 weeks later, continuing to ride at the highest level. Coming in hot at the top 3, we go back in time to rodeo legend Freckles Brown, a world champion from the golden age of bull riding. Back then, safety gear was very minimal, so crashes could be very dangerous. This one was almost fatal and shocked everyone who saw it. Freckles was riding a very wild bull called Black Smoke. During the ride, he lost his balance and fell, but his foot got stuck in the stirrup. For several scary seconds, he was dragged and slammed against the bull as it bucked and spun. The crowd watched in fear as he was thrown around like a rag doll. The bullfighters rushed in to help, but it was very hard to free him. Freckles survived, but he had multiple broken bones, internal injuries, and terrible bruises. Standing in the top 2 is Mason Lowe, a rising star in the PBR whose life was tragically cut short during a competition. On January 15, 2019, Mason was competing at the National Western Stock Show in Denver when disaster struck. After completing a successful ride, he was thrown from the bull. As he tried to get up, the bull's back leg came down hard on his chest. Despite wearing a protective vest, the impact caused massive damage to his heart and aorta. He was rushed to the hospital, but sadly did not survive. Mason was only 25 years old and ranked 18th in the world at the time. Mason's death sent shockwaves through the rodeo community and reminded everyone of the risk these athletes take every time they climb on a bull. In his memory, the PBR established the Mason Lowe Award, given annually to the rider with the highest score in single ride during the regular season. His legacy lives on. There's no other crash that holds the same weight, the same raw emotion, and the same lasting legacy as the one that claimed the life of legendary Lane Frost. At number 1, it's the tragic moment at the Cheyenne Frontier Days that forever changed the sport. Lane Frost was the reigning world champion in 1987, a rising superstar loved by fans for his infectious smile and incredible talent. In 1989, at the daddy of them all, Cheyenne Frontier Days, he drew the bull taking care of business. It was a successful ride. Lane made the whistle, a seemingly perfect 8-second trip, but as he dismounted, something went terribly wrong. Taking care of business, known for sometimes turning back on riders, suddenly spun sharply to the left. As Lane landed, he turned back into the bull's path. The bull's head came up, and one of its horns caught Lane squarely in the side, breaking ribs that severed an artery. The crowd, initially cheering the successful ride, quickly fell silent as Lane stumbled, tried to walk, and then collapsed in the arena dirt. The bullfighters and medical personnel rushed to his side. Tuff Hedeman, his best friend, was one of the first there. The atmosphere was one of utter disbelief and horror. Despite immediate medical condition, Lane Frost passed away shortly after due to internal bleeding. The death of Lane Frost sent shockwaves through the entire rodeo community. It was a brutal reminder of the ultimate price these athletes can pay. His passing led directly to significant advancements in rider safety, most notably the widespread adoption and mandatory use of protective vests. These vests, now a standard part of every bull rider's gear, are a direct legacy of Lane Frost's sacrifice, designed to protect against the very type of injury that claimed his life. Watching these moments, it's impossible not to feel the immense respect for these cowboys and cowgirls who put it all on the line every single time they nod their head. These crashes are not just moments of pain. They are also moments that define resilience, inspire improvements in safety, and remind us of the incredible bond between the rider, bull, and the dirt. Bull riding has evolved largely due to the lessons learned from these moments, but the inherent danger will always be part of its raw, captivating appeal. What do you think about this top 10 worst bull riding crashes in history? Were there any crashes you remember that we missed? Which moment was memorable for you? Let us know in the comments. And if you appreciate the bravery of these cowboys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.